What's going on, y'all? I want to check out this video, and it's nasty, the topic that we're going to be discussing. But it's from a creator named Blackie Speaks, right? He spoke on this recent incident that has been going down with this nasty dude that happens to be black, is running around putting his paws on females, specifically white women. He's running around putting hands on me. I tried to censor myself, but it's as much as I can censor myself. Let's check out this video, bro. It's disgusting. I honestly wish I could just walk across, like come across this guy or be around when stuff like this happens.
Issue, nigga. That's the real issue, nigga.
A 32-year-old Diquan Hunt is this man who is seen in now viral videos punching women without any warning.
You sitting here playing with me, nigga. That's the real issue, nigga. July 21st is the real issue, nigga. July 21st, that's the real issue. Nah, don't wave to me.
Police say the victim was walking along East Boulevard last week when she is punched in the face, then drops to the ground.
This dude's a coward. Dude is a coward, bro. Oh my gosh, he's so nasty. Like, what is wrong with people like this?
Now, the clip I just played was
And you targeting females. Like, you a sucker.
a 32-year-old man named Diquan Hunt. And prior to this brutal assault, this guy had an extensive criminal record. In just the last 3 years, he had reportedly been arrested 8 separate times, but this goes back further than that. Since 2012, Diquan Hunt had been named in 11 different criminal cases and faced a total of 22 charges. We're talking assaulting women, violating domestic violence protective orders, firing a gun into occupied property, breaking.
Why was he out in the street? Like, what? Why was he walking around?
And entering, pepper spraying someone on a city bus, assaulting a government official. And just months before this particular incident, he was accused of threatening a man with a knife. He eventually pleaded guilty to assault with a deadly weapon and carrying a concealed weapon. But after all that, for the knife-related case, he was sentenced to time served, 3 months. In fact, according to prison records reviewed by the Charlotte Observer, Diquan Hunt had never actually served time in state prison for any of these convictions. His sentences were either credited as time he had already spent in the county jail or suspended for probation. And somehow after all of that, he kept ending up back on the streets. And that's what makes this so frustrating, because this wasn't somebody with no history. This was somebody who had been arrested over and over again, convicted of multiple crimes, and had already been accused of violence involving women in the past, a government official, and even a deadly weapon. Yet somehow he was still out in society.
But yeah, this person is nasty as hell. Super nasty. Like, what the hell would make someone do something like this? I came across some of these clips. We ain't showing none of them on this stream, but some of these clips on Twitter, or X as it's called, and it was some of the most disgusting, horrid, just sick things that I've ever seen, bro. Like, the people that were coming across him were like super friendly, they waving at him, hey, how you doing? And he just starts to attack them repeatedly. It's so nasty. So nasty. Wow.
He ended up recording himself approaching the woman in the clip that I just showed you, who, by the way, was just walking on the street, minding her own business, and she ended up waving at him. And moments later, he knocked her to the ground.
That video is now being spread across social media, going viral. 32-year-old Diquan Hunt is now in a medical facility awaiting charges following that alleged assault in Dilworth.
Now, when I saw this clip, honestly, it made me sick to my stomach, and so sick to the point where I actually had a hard time eating this morning. And I kind of hate the fact that I even have to talk about this because I'm generally disgusted by this entire story. But I think we need to talk about it for a few different reasons. So this clip has been going viral over the last few days. And for anybody who hasn't seen it or heard about what happened, honestly, I'm sure you're going to be as outraged as me about this particular story. And I'm disgusted by the fact that
I was pissed. I was livid. I kept saying over and over again, where am I at when this be happening? Let me have just been just walking down the street and I just came across this happening. I would have lost my mind. From that day forth, he would have never done that to someone again. Man, his family trying to say he went crazy and they begging for help or whatever. Listen, he needs to go to jail. Forget this mental asylum stuff you're trying to do. And like just jail time. Police. How many times does he have to get arrested? They said like 11 different crimes. Why is he still running around? He need to be under the jail. We need someone like Batman patrolling these streets like it's Gotham. And like, what happened to that dude that used to pretend to be a superhero? And then they found out that he was a drug lord. Is it Phoenix Jones? Oh my gosh, that was crazy. And I was like super hype about that. Like, yeah, we got a superhero running around. Oh wait, he did what? Maybe I need to do a video about that.
Stranger who happened to acknowledge him as she walked by. So the woman actually ended up surviving the attack, thank God. But police say she suffered serious injuries. And beyond the physical injuries, I can only imagine the mental toll that something this random and violent could have on somebody. So my prayers are with that woman and her family. But this is where the story gets even more frustrating, because Diquan Hunt had basically been causing havoc in Charlotte for more than a decade. He had been arrested repeatedly. He had been convicted of multiple crimes. He had been accused of assaulting women and firing a gun into a building and threatening somebody with a knife. I mean, he just had a crazy rap sheet. Yet despite all that, according to the Charlotte Observer, he had never served a state prison sentence for any of those convictions. And I think that's crazy. So he just kept getting released over and over again until eventually he was back on the streets. And this woman became his latest victim. So that's how broken the system really is, to the point where somebody who has shown time and time again how violent it can really be just keeps ending up back on the streets. And the craziest part is even his own family had apparently been trying to get him help for years. His sister told the news that he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and PTSD after their...
It's not an excuse, bro. That's not an excuse. Even though everything he just named is very intense. And then if you are struggling with that, you might need help. Go get that ASAP. It's not an excuse, though. Hell no. For what he's doing. And notice how he's being real selective. He's not doing this to men. He's doing this to females. Like, yeah, nah, bro. He ain't that crazy.
Father was...
In fact, you know what? We gotta give him a nasty song before we keep going. We gotta give him a nasty song. I should have started it off with one.
Yeah.
You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, yeah. You know your name.
Horrible, man.
Murdered. And while she said she wanted justice for the woman, she also basically pointed to his mental illness and said she wanted her brother to finally get the help that he needs. So even his own family knew this dude had serious issues long before this happened.
This is Hunt's sister, who asked us not to show her face. She says out-of-state relatives told them about the video.
I wanted her to have justice for what happened because she didn't deserve it. But I also want my brother to get the help that he needs because he is severely mentally ill.
You know how bad you gotta be when your own family knows something needs to be done? So that's the situation with this guy. I mean, you take one look at this dude's rap sheet, and this is really not a person who should have been anywhere near the general public. The amount of damage he had already caused before this brutal attack on this poor woman is honest.
You see, hold on. You see how many damn jail mugshots he got? That's ridiculous. Like, how many chances you gonna get? He went way beyond 1, 2, 3. That was like 11 plus.
Dude's rap sheet, and this is really not a person who should have.
Yo, with a different hairstyle every time. Every time he got a different hairstyle. This is insane.
Been anywhere near the general public. The amount of damage he had already caused before this brutal attack on this poor woman is honestly staggering. And now the virality of this horrifying clip has basically started another conversation about how the system deals with repeat offenders. And this is not the first time we've seen stories like this. I remember literally almost a year ago, there was the horrifying murder of 23-year-old Irina Zarutska. She was a young woman from Ukraine who had moved to the United States. And one night, she was simply riding the light trail home in Charlotte. And next thing you know, this career criminal sitting behind her pulls out a knife and kills her completely unprovoked. And once again, when people started looking into the dude who did this, he had an extensive criminal history and had repeatedly been back out in society. And now almost a year later, the case still hasn't even gone to trial. In June, a federal judge ruled that DeCarlos Brown was mentally incompetent to stand trial for the time being. He's still locked up and undergoing treatment to try to restore his competency, so the case could still move forward later. I guess we'll see, right? And did I mention that this happened in Charlotte too? I know some of you guys live in Charlotte. I just want to ask you a question. What the fuck is going on in Charlotte? Clearly something in that system needs to be looked at. Now, one of the most disturbing things about this guy is that this was not the only video where he was doing something like this. And there's one in particular that's honestly hard to watch. I'm going to play a couple of seconds of it right now.
So dummy shit, bitch.
So he basically starts chasing this woman towards.
I saw this video too. Oh my gosh. She ran around her car and he's like chasing her around the car, trying to get to her. I think eventually the car lets her in to like hide from him. And then he runs off as he says a bunch of disgusting and mind you, you're going to notice I say that word a lot for this particular topic because that was the feeling that I got as I watched those clips, as well as, just let me just be walking nearby. Just let me be near and see something like this. And you're attacking them because they're white. But then people going to be like, oh, you can't be racist to white people. What? Impossible. Not if you're black. Then this man is running around and targeting white women because simply they're just white. And because they're women, because he's a bitch. That's a bitch right there. If I ever seen one. He's soft. Mental health, my ass.
The street, and she ended up running into traffic trying to get away from this guy. She comes dangerously close to getting hit by a car, like super close. And once again, this is all being recorded and posted by this guy. So obviously this was not like a one isolated moment or nothing like that. There was a pattern here. And ain't no telling how much of this kind of stuff he did when he wasn't recording. I mean, if the stuff he chose to record was already this bad, just imagine what he chose not to record. And heavy on the word chose, because clearly there's still some level of decision making going on here. He's not just randomly attacking everybody he comes across. From the videos we've seen, he appears to be targeting women only. And let's be real, that obviously matters here. Because if we're going to blame it on mental health, if his mental state was so completely out of control and this was purely mental illness, you would expect to see that same energy toward men too.
Exactly. We don't see a single video with that, which means he ain't that damn crazy. He's not at all, yo.
But you don't. And I think there's a reason for that. He knows damn well that if he walks up on the wrong grown man, I would say most grown men, and tries the same thing, there's a much higher chance that, he would meet God. So clearly he's capable of making some kind of choices about who he targets. And to me, that makes it very hard to just blame all this on mental health.
But I ain't do nothing. You say that when I get motherfuckers who walk by me, said that I didn't do nothing, or my children, or I had no victory to show for, but I ain't do nothing at all.
Now, listening to him ramble in some of these videos, obviously there's something going on mentally and that has to be considered. But I also don't think that automatically means this dude deserves sympathy or that it excuses what he did. There are millions of people dealing with serious mental health problems every single day who do not go around terrorizing and attacking innocent people, especially women. So at some point, you gotta ask, what's the common denominator here? Him. So the question I have is, how did we even get here? Because I have a hard time buying the fact that somebody can have this many run-ins with the law, this many violent incidents, this many warning signs, and somehow nobody along the way was able to say, maybe this dude should not be back out on the streets right now. Like, at what point does the system actually step in? Because when somebody keeps getting arrested, keeps getting back out, keeps doing more shit, and then eventually an innocent woman gets seriously hurt in this manner, I mean, what he did was absolutely brutal and disgusting. At some point, you can't just look at the individual anymore. You also have to look at every single opportunity there was to stop it before it got to this point. And that's what I'm having a hard time understanding. And here's another thing that bothers me. What happens if this video never goes viral? Because this incident happened on July 30, and Diquan Hunt wasn't arrested until August 6th, after these videos started spreading online and were brought to the attention of police. So I genuinely wonder if nobody reposts this.
That's crazy. So he would have just probably continued that just going on a spree, attacking white women simply because of the color of their skin. Yeah, nah, this is nasty as hell. And I keep stressing on the fact that he targeted women. He ain't crazy. He knew if he tried to run up on a man, it would have been different.
If nobody talks about it, if this dude doesn't literally document his own crimes against women, how long does this continue? And how many other people could have potentially been victimized that we simply don't know about? And from the other videos that surfaced, this is clearly just beyond one encounter. Again, it's a pattern, which means we might not even know the full extent of what this dude was doing. And honestly, the reason why I'm even talking about this is because I'm kind of sick of seeing stories like this. I'm not going to sit here and act like the system never gets it right. Of course it does. But there are also situations, a lot of situations where it gets it horribly wrong.
It's too many cases like this where people are running around doing just foul things and they get to get off scot-free. Just, are you insane? How many times did he get arrested? And a lot of those crimes were violent crimes. Why is he walking on the street? Why? His own family don't want to be around him.
Wrong. And the price for getting it wrong is this. It's another innocent person ending up face to face with somebody who had already shown over and over again that he could be, actually, he was dangerous. And that's the part that bothers me. Because at some point, if we're showing more concern for repeatedly putting somebody like this back into society than we are for the potential people they might hurt next, then something is seriously backwards. You can have sympathy for somebody's mental health struggles, of course. You can believe they need help, but that sympathy cannot come at the expense of innocent people's safety. Because when that happens, it's usually somebody else who ends up paying the price. But honestly, I'm really curious what you guys think about this particular story right here. Did you guys see any of these clips or this particular clip? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I came across it. It was pretty foul. Just like that was some demonic ass stuff. Nasty. But then they're going to say, hey, ain't no racism out here. Nah, black people can't be racist. Stupid. Tell me what you guys think about it down in the comment section. Hit the like button and subscribe, and the hype button too as well if you haven't already, man. And also, if you want to watch me live stream and continue to watch the playback, check me out on Kick. I'm trying to get my Kick followers up. Follow me on Kick too as well, where I'll do more live streams and whatnot. Got me over here messing up my words because all this nastiness out here in these streets. Fang gang.